Cleaning is the most basic thing we can do to prevent illness.
I can say that I've been there. I've been that person that has had to clean the plant up after we've done runs, and I know how difficult it is and how time-consuming it is and how careful you have to be that everything is as clean as it can possibly be.
Cases of foodborne illness occur each year. The food industry is constantly trying to make food safe, reduce the waste from food recalls, and keep costs down. The industry has many ways to preserve food, prevent contamination, and detect bacteria. The new challenge is to increase food production for a growing population while making innovative products that consumers want.
I've been fascinated by this technology that we can take a cooked meat product that at home they tell you, oh, don't store for any more than 3 days after you've cooked it, to now we can extend that shelf life out to maybe 45 days, 60 days. It's just fascinating to me. So I've really enjoyed being part of that and seeing how long we can extend that shelf life out for those type of foods.
So we've been working with a client for about 2 years that's getting ready to go to market. That's a canned tuna replacement for vegetarians. So just working with less functional proteins. They wanted to try and stay away from corn proteins and soy proteins that are more allergenic. It's important to be inclusive with everything you make, whether that's for vegetarians or for people with allergens.
Orange berry is a kind of sugar berry growing in the Midwest area, and is very popular in recent several years. But these crops, they have some issue. The first thing is they have high antioxidant, is healthy food, but they taste not good. So we need to think about how we can improve the food quality. We do several strategies. First, we collaborating with a professor in another university. He will introduce a new cultivar to bring some of the new quality. Second, we will study how the pre-harvest factor, such as the soil, climate, and also how the fertilizer program, and what is the harvest time, what those pre-harvest factor affects the quality. And third, we will study the food processing, how we can use some food processing technology to improve the flavor, the taste, meanwhile do not hurt the health benefits.
Individual entrepreneurs who start their own small food companies often get absorbed by larger manufacturers. It's an industry trend that brings innovative products into the marketplace.
I work specifically with the small companies, and so a lot of what they're developing follows trends that are out there. A lot more fermented foods, energy drinks, granola bars, energy bars, and then we always have, of course, the traditional salsas, barbecue sauces, cookies, that sort of thing.
U.S. consumers are eating less meat, but the global demand for U.S. meat products is on the rise, especially in emerging markets. According to the Department of Agriculture, this year pork and chicken exports are expected to increase by 3% and 4% respectively. The U.S. will likely export more than 114 million tons of pork and 97 million tons of chicken in 2019.
A growing number of people are concerned about food safety after a series of recalls over food contamination.
In the past 2 months, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has recalled nearly 50 different food and drug products.
It is not just your imagination. There are more food recalls than ever before.
A food recall is one of the most visible reminders that our food supply is not perfect.
As a consumer, I've always trusted the U.S. food supply. I feel like it's the safest food supply in the world, and yet we're seeing more and more recalls every day being shared across the country, and I feel like consumers are losing confidence in the food system in the United States. So the research and technology that's being advanced at the Food Processing Center and through the Alliance for Advanced Sanitation, to me, is critical at this point for the U.S. food system and supply.
In downtown Boston, Spice Restaurant is cooking up fresh rice bowls with some help from robots.
Machines play a growing role in food production, safety, and cost control, but they still can't do everything that a human can.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy.
Anyone who has their own garden knows that the tomatoes that you grow in your garden, each one's going to look different size, different shape. And if you're just making something out of the tomatoes in your kitchen, that's fine. But for a large-scale production system, for manufacturing, that variability is a tremendous challenge. We have to have approaches that can recognize tomatoes of different sizes, colors, and shapes. People do that incredibly well. Robots, they could do it well in the future, but the technology is not robust enough yet. So one of the most important things for us is to develop new ideas and to take those ideas from the concept phase to a demonstration. So our faculty come up with some crazy harebrained ideas, and if they're able to build and test something, they can actually develop an innovation that really can help people. It's not just the ivory tower approach of getting the next publication. It's doing something that will change lives, that will improve the human condition.
Universities are working to be more adaptive and drive the future of new technologies such as 3D printed food, high-pressure processing, automated grading, lab-grown meat, novel protein sources, robotic chefs, and functionalized surfaces, just to name a few. Allergens are one of the biggest challenges in food production. 32 million Americans have food allergies, including 5.6 million children. Most food recalls are due to flaws in the allergen management program or mislabeled products.
Food safety is just incredibly important. And from working with the very smallest company to the very large manufacturers, it's just critical that everyone is producing safe food products for the consumer.
The stakes have never been higher. We cannot accept failure because lives are at risk if we do a poor job of ensuring safety of our food supply.
Think about if you had a child that had a peanut allergy and somebody didn't get something cleaned the way they should. And because of that, a product that should have been allergen-free has gotten out into the marketplace, and a child has had an anaphylactic shock or something and has died from that. I mean, it's critical. I'm sorry, I get teared up about that.